And welcome everybody to the Daily Wrap. I'm your host / ringleader Joe Concha. And joining me tonight on the show, our first ever. She's funny, she's smart, she looks great in glasses. It's Catherine Timpf, the F's standing for phenomenal. Catherine, welcome. Yes. And our token liberal from Forbes magazine. He also works security downstairs because he's on here so much.
Hey, you do what you got to do.
Up and down the elevator. Very good. He's also the co-host of Steel and Unger on Sirius XM Radio. And overall, a comic book nerd. Rick Unger!
Don't even go there.
Well,
Don't even go to the comic book thing.
Too soon.
And finally,
Too soon.
She's a viper in the courtroom by day, and she loves cheesesteak as well, meaning she must be from Philadelphia, must be an Eagles and Flyers fan, currently living in New York. Attorney Heather Hansen, welcome as well.
Good to be here.
And this is the Daily Wrap, everybody, and let's first go to the Daily Download. And just to give you a little information, the Daily Download features our top story of the day. And today, of course, and we've all been watching all afternoon, the confirmation hearing of Attorney General candidate Loretta Lynch, who is set to replace, thank God, outgoing Attorney General Eric Holder. Yes, that was not impromptu. It took no time before Loretta Lynch was questioned on the legality of President Obama's executive order on immigration. Let's roll that.
Would you take action against an employer who says, no, I prefer to hire somebody that came to the country lawfully rather than someone given executive amnesty by the president? Would the Department of Justice take action against them?
When you answer that, I'll move on then.
Thank you, sir. With respect to the provision about temporary deferral, I did not read it as providing a legal amnesty, that is, that permanent status there, but a temporary deferral. With respect to whether or not those individuals would be able to seek redress for employment discrimination, if that is the purpose of your question, again, I haven't studied that legal issue. I certainly think you raise an important point and would look forward to discussing it with you and using and relying upon your thoughts and experience as we consider that.
So, an interesting day, to say the least, regarding Ms. Lynch. I would say it looks like she's probably...
She did well.
She did.
I absolutely agree with that. So let's start with the lawyer first. Does she get confirmed?
By the way, the lawyer has to talk into my microphone because hers is not working at this very moment.
Or just an excuse
So
for you to get closer
I'm
to
just
it.
turning right into it.
We'll just cuddle up a little bit.
Very
I think
good.
she's definitely going to get confirmed. She's got some good questions, some good answers. And ultimately, the big question was, you're not Eric Holder. And her answer was yes. And I think ultimately, that is really what everybody out there is looking for right now. There's been so many issues with him, and they're looking to bring somebody new on.
Yeah, I saw, I think it was trending on Twitter at one point, hashtag Abe, anybody but Eric Holder.
She was brilliant in the way she handled the question about immigration, which I thought might end up tubing her because she'd be obligated to say, yes, I agree with the president who's appointed me. But what she did instead was she said, I've read the memos, they seem reasonable to me, but never said that she agreed with everything. And in fact, she said some of the things struck her as legal, some of the things struck her as questionable. Perfect answers. She's doing this absolutely beautifully.
So not speaking in absolutes.
Everyone will hate her within a couple months, I'm sure.
Really?
Everyone always finds a reason to hate anybody. Well, yeah, right? That's our job as citizens, to find things to hate about people that are in power.
Interesting.
Keep them from getting too powerful.
So the question is, though, she talks about amnesty, and the question was, is it legal? In other words, let's say...
I know, I agree. I think that she handled it really, really well. Yeah. It's an inflammatory question. I'm sure everybody was coming in there ready to go with that one, but we really do need somebody else right now. Not Eric Holder. Going to be the bar set very, very low.
Are you supporting her?
For what is sure. You know, I don't like her. I don't like her not wanting to legalize marijuana. I think that's a bad sign of an individual. Doesn't appreciate personal freedom.
But you understand what the people on that panel, the Republicans, would have said if she said she did want to legalize it.
I know, but isn't that so twisted that that's the point of view they accept? But that's just
I don't think it was the major issue here. You know, you're talking about immigration. You're talking about
it's criminal justice reform.
Well, right, but it wasn't even on the top of her list. I mean, she's got a really great background in terrorism and trying those types of cases. I think she's got the best background since anybody since 9/11.
More than anybody.
So that's the stuff that she's focused on. She's going to focus on her strengths. I agree with you, Catherine, that in that area, she's a little iffy, but she's going to stay away from that.
Rick, another question that came up, and it came from Lindsey Graham, and I asked this of you. He's a senator, a Republican. And he asked Ms. Lynch to differentiate between gay marriage and polygamy. Now somebody who has participated in both at one time in your life.
In polygamy and gay marriage?
From what I've read, yes. if you can confirm that or not.
Better be careful. My wife's a Mormon.
Oh. Well,
see,
you learn something new every day.
Better
in the
be
Daily
careful.
Wrap.
And she's watching, and she knows where you live.
No question. Is that an appropriate question that we heard today?
No, it wasn't. And it makes all the sense in the world that it would come from Lindsey Graham, who seems to have lost his mind in the past couple of years. Almost everything that comes out of his mouth is either inappropriate or just crazy. So it's not that shocking. Of course it was inappropriate. And, she's not on the Supreme Court. It may have been close to an appropriate question when you're confirming a justice for the Supreme Court who's going to rule and tell us something about what they think about same-sex marriage. This has nothing to do with her. All these issues are now state issues. These are all state legislation, either by legislation, by judicial decree, or by voting that happened. It's got nothing to do with the United States Attorney General. It was the show part. A lot of it was show.
To Catherine's point, I think they're looking for a reason to hate her. They're trying to bring something out that's going to be sort of spicy, because other than that she's not giving him a whole lot to play with.
Catherine, give me the legacy of Eric Holder now that it looks like he'll finally be gone. What will he be remembered for?
I mean, it's pathetic. Scandals, being a criminal. It's about as bad as it could possibly be. The mustache probably though too. I don't know.
Never trust a guy with a mustache.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, sometimes maybe, but not that guy. I mean, I think the bar is really low for her, kind of like how when Obama came into office, everyone expected him to change the whole universe, and so really easy to hate him. Not that he's done a good job, but regardless, for her, it's going to be the opposite of that. So I feel like she'll have a much easier time because he was so bad.
The bar is set so low.
Yeah, his legacy is going to be the best thing that can happen to
Everybody likes
whoever's
to
next.
bash poor Eric Holder.
He's a criminal.
No,
15 seconds.
I think he was actually a pretty good AG. All in all, I didn't agree with everything that he did, and I think he should have been more independent. This is my biggest knock on him, but he still did some pretty good things as the Attorney General.
Like what?
Heather, last word.
Like what?
There's no time.
Like, what is your last word, everybody?
What?
So we got to go to break. But coming up next, we serve our political potluck. Don't go away. The Daily Wrap continues right after this. Welcome back to the show. I love that guitar riff, by the way, that we got going for us. Well, why don't we start with our political potluck party? Now, you're probably asking, what the heck is political potluck? Well, basically, the four of us said, these are stories that we individually want to talk about, and we'll go around the table. So, age before beauty, of course, Catherine. Actually, it's the other way around.
I think in this case, it's definitely the other way around.
Like
27, 26.
Not that old either.
I was more focused on the beauty part, but hey,
that's creepy. So, Catherine.
Yes.
What is your political potluck story?
I want to talk about Mike Huckabee saying that it's unprofessional, it's trashy to swear in the workplace, basically, especially if women say it. He said, in New York, not only the men do it, but the women do it. And I was kind of disappointed to see how many people were trying to actually come out and defend him, even conservatives. Like, well, he said it wasn't okay for everybody. He didn't say it was based on gender, but he actually brought up a gender. So, yeah, he did. So, I don't know, kind of really bothered me a lot.
Yeah, I think it bothered a lot of people. It's not that big of a deal to me. I think that swearing in the workplace in general, I mean, if we were to start dropping F-bombs here, I don't think it would go over well.
But he wasn't talking in general. He was saying it was worse for women. That's the whole difference.
Yeah, I
can't ignore that.
But part of it's generational. I think that part of it's generational. I think it's going to hurt him with women. I agree with you. I think it's going to hurt him with women when it comes to the election. I think there's a whole lot of other stuff that, with regard to his policies, that's going to hurt him with women a whole lot more. But I think that every time he opens his mouth of late, he puts his foot in it.
Yeah, look, I mean, Governor Huckabee is going to say anything that he thinks appeals to his base. It's as simple as that. Whether he means it or not. Look, I mean, that was a stupid remark.
Base, though?
Yeah,
nobody can really quantify it, but I'll tell you what, it's big enough that he'll probably win Iowa. How about that?
Because of the evangelical.
Iowa,
Yeah, he'll win the first
people
penalty. It doesn't matter. He'll win the first penalty, and he'll be taken quasi-seriously. But I had him on my radio show on Saturday. And, he actually, on occasion, will make an intelligent point, but then he starts talking about this stuff where he actually told states they should ignore the Supreme Court if the Supreme Court gives us a ruling on same-sex marriage that the states don't like. Really? So now you've got a president running for candidate who's basically saying, insurrection, please. Ignore the Supreme Court. They actually don't have the right to make that decision. Really?
Right, but people aren't saying that. People are saying, well, you know, he didn't really say that. Come on.
So he did say it.
Right. Yeah, people say, oh, I don't know why people are trying so hard to defend this guy.
Welcome
it
to
makes
your
you
Republican
look bad
Party.
if you try to, hey, I'm a libertarian. So, don't call me that.
As far as the whole F-bombs and women using them, you brought up the point before this will hurt him with women. By him criticizing women dropping
By
F-bombs,
him pointing out women specifically. Like I said, it's not a huge big deal to me, but it is a huge big deal. I saw Catherine tweeted about it today, and there was a huge response. There are a lot of people who say, why are you pointing me out? If I'm in the workplace with all the men doing the same thing men do, why can't I drop the F-bomb as well? I think to some people, that just perpetuates the idea that he is of a different generation that we can't relate to.
I'm trying to understand the Huckabee campaign so far. And what I've heard is what Rick brought up before, and a lot of Beyonce. That Beyonce's a problem, and Beyonce... And
Well, right now, the campaign is his book. That's
really
the campaign.
Funny. It's just been, I mean, Beyonce must love it. If I were Beyonce, I would love it. I would love that kind of
I wonder if
attention.
Jay-Z liked the whole pimping out his wife thing, though.
Ridiculous.
You know?
I don't know who's.
That's what he said. He said
Right,
that Jay-Z
yeah.
was pimping out his wife, Beyonce.
you don't want to be using pimpy out. That's David Schuster.
I'd punch him in the face if I were Jay-Z, but that's Jay-Z's
And yet you still
call.
think he'll win Iowa because that appeals to...
I
I don't
do.
know if there's a lot of Beyonce fans in Iowa.
Probably
either.
not, yeah.
So,
This is true.
Especially not in his
I
party.
think if you asked him,
No.
he would say he has a lot of respect for women. I think it's just a
well, everybody
totally
says,
different way.
Of course he would say that. Of
But
course
I think
he
it's
wouldn't
just
say, nah.
he thinks that he's being respectful. I think it's just a totally different paradigm.
He has calculated that the way he gets some gravitas in this is to pretend he's living in 1950.
Right.
He thinks that will appeal to the people he wants to appeal to. They long for a better time. I always love that. Better time. You know, people never want to deal with their reality. People died in the 1950s of illnesses that are cured today with a shot. But they long for a better time. Well, that's what Mike Huckabee wants to bring them.
Interesting. Now, your potluck, Rick Unger. Let's hear it.
Well, first I should say I wouldn't be here except that I'm afraid of being fined. So that's number one. That said, I'm fascinated by this whole thing with Bibi Netanyahu. I think, and coming to give this speech, that he wasn't invited by the White House, that he was invited by the Speaker of the House. I think that in an election that is close at best in Israel, where his party is actually lagging right now, he may have made a critical political mistake.
By agreeing to speak before Congress.
By doing this. There are people I'm talking to in Israel, and right now, the way things work over there, his party is one vote behind in the polls in the Knesset. Now, what that means is he may not get the chance, if it turns out that way, to form the government. If the Labor Party can form a government, then he doesn't get the chance. He may still be prime minister if he can pull it together where they can't. But I know a lot of people in Israel that think he's making a huge mistake sticking his thumb in the eye of the President of the United States. Even if he doesn't like President Obama, I think we all understand it doesn't go well for Israel if we don't stay involved.
But Heather, President Obama hasn't exactly been a friend to Israel.
Yeah,
From
he
what
has.
we've seen, he has.
He hasn't been a friend to Bibi Netanyahu, but he is a friend
But
to
he's
Israel.
the leader of Israel, so by proxy,
Really?
maybe Israelis...
Is Bibi Netanyahu a friend to America?
Yes.
And yet he hates our president. He's not a friend to President Obama.
I think they have a mutual dislike for
It's
each
the
other.
same thing. That's my point.
Yeah.
The thing about Netanyahu, though, is he's got the courage of his convictions. He believes that Iran is the ultimate threat to his country. And so because of that, he is willing to alienate Americans. He's willing to put that before.
How's he
It'll work great.
Yeah. How's he going to
He
deal
cares
with
so
Iran
much.
without us?
I'm not saying that it's, what I'm
Makes
saying
no
is
sense.
it's unusual to see this in a politician where they're transparent. He says, this is the first priority for me.
wasn't
Boehner
transparent
invited
to
him.
sneak
I mean, if
around.
there's a problem, it's really who extended the invitation.
Catherine?
It wasn't transparent to meet with John Kerry, like you wrote in your comment, and not bring it up that he was going to meet with Congress the next day. It didn't see, that was my problem
Great
with it.
example.
That it
Talk
wasn't
about not
that
being
it wasn't
transparent.
transparent. Is that it was so sneaky was what bothered me the most about it. I mean, this is so weird. So now we're fighting with Israel now also, and this weird internal struggle. We don't like Obama. He's this and he's that. I really think that everyone should just grow up and see kind of like the bigger picture.
And you're so right. I mean, how can you say they're transparent when the day before the announcement, the ambassador met with John Kerry and somehow forgot to tell him?
Yeah, but I'm not saying he's being transparent about what he's doing. He's transparent about why he's doing it. He has said,
no, he's not.
Straightforward.
He's doing it because he thinks it'll help him win an election.
And
yeah, I don't know
that is the
about
last word, my friend.
As long as I got it, it's all good.
I just like the fact that his nickname's Bibby. I mean, Bibby.
I have to teach you how to be Jewish.
Well, thank you. The Irish Catholic.
My pleasure.
Learned quite quickly.
We'll do it.
Coming up next, more political potluck on the Daily Wrap, only here on Newsmax TV. Stay tuned. Oh, that music feels like it's so important in this next segment. Welcome back to the Daily Wrap. I'm Joe Concha, joined by Catherine Timpf, Rick Unger, Heather Hansen. Let's continue with potluck. And I'm up. Thank you. And I love this story, by the way, because I wrote about it just today, so it's fresh in my head. Nicole Wallace, you may have heard of her. She's on The View. She's on Morning Joe a lot. She was on Letterman just a couple of nights ago. She's sat down with Andy Cohen. She's all over the place. She is a absolute celebrity. Let's hear her on The View talking about her favorite topic.
I really believe that if it looked like she were about to become the nominee, or heaven forbid, the leader of the free world, a whole lot of people would stand up and say a whole lot of things.
Yes, Nicole Wallace. That was The View, by the way, and get a good look at it, because from what I'm reading and what I'm hearing, that show is about to go bye-bye. They're thinking about taking Good Morning America and actually expanding it another hour because the ratings are so poor and they're paying so much money to these people and nobody apparently is watching. There's a big problem.
Michael and Kelly Ripa are right smack in between it.
Yeah.
They're on at 9 on all the O&Os. They're not going to be able to do it.
Oh, you don't think so? No. Okay, well, good. That's the rumor. But hey, look, you choose Rosie O'Donnell and you choose Rosie Perez and you have Whoopi, right?
Go figure, they might not get along.
3 women in their 50s.
Right.
Okay, so it's the 1990s All-Star team, and then you take Nicole Wallace, who
Hey, be
literally
nice to people who are a little older. Watch it.
Okay,
Watch it.
I'll try. Thank you. Anyway, our next commercial break will be sponsored by Viagra, just so you're very familiar with that. Anyway, point being, Rick, this is my segment, by the way, so stop butting in. Okay, please? All right?
Oops.
Nicole Wallace, claim to fame, Heather, seems to be, every time I see her on all of these shows, the only time she gets ink, the only time that somebody reports on what she says is when she's trashing her former boss.
Listen, there's a fascination with Sarah Palin. We know it. We are aware of it. It's out there. Her talk at Iowa this past weekend, everybody's blowing up about that. But I think it's not fair to Nicole to say that that's the only time that she gets any attention. I think that when she's on some of these shows, she is really well spoken. I think she was a good choice for The View, just not with that particular group. She was thrown to the wolves without the experience to really deal with them. But you're right in that the attention is to Sarah Palin, and wherever she goes, attention follows. And Nicole's getting the benefit of that in some ways.
Catherine, I'm amazed that it's 7 years since we were introduced to Sarah Palin. 7 years. It's 5 years, 6 years since she's actually held public office.
Right.
And yet still, she's always a topic of conversation.
Well, yeah, but not about in terms of being in the public office ever.
No.
Never, ever.
She threw out that she may run for president.
That's funny. I mean, she does that because people will talk about it. I don't think anybody takes her seriously. She doesn't take herself seriously.
She's like the female Trump at this point.
I don't know. Yeah,
Exactly.
maybe.
That's actually a very good
That's a really good
explanation.
comparison, actually. I think.
Yes.
Except that Trump
Thank
has a TV show that gets decent ratings. Sarah
Right.
Palin can't put a TV show on that gets any ratings.
It appears that way. Catherine?
I have a poster of her on my bedroom door on a horse, but it's ironic, Like I posted a picture of it on Twitter, and people were like, "Yeah, you guys are great." I'm like, "No, please, she doesn't have any thoughts about any issues at all, other than she hates Obama."
But she's welcome to so many TV shows to spout them.
Because
It's
we're sitting here talking
fascinating.
about
Well, she's
it.
entertaining.
Exactly.
I mean,
well,
it's
she's polarizing
entertaining.
and she gets
I
people
actually
talking, no
That's right.
question. Rick, I'm sorry, we got to move on
I'm sorry.
to Heather's segment. And Heather, your potluck?
I want to talk about Romney and the fact that after 2012, he went out and built a home. He's building the home in La Jolla. He's got the house in Salt Lake City. He's got a house in Park City. And people are attacking him for it. And I'm wondering whether or not it is a liability to be successful when you're running for president.
Well, I don't understand, because Hillary Clinton gets $250,000 per speech. Her husband earned over $106 million doing public speaking. How many yachts can you water ski behind? How much is enough? Romney is portrayed as Gordon Gekko,
Right.
but for whatever reason, Catherine, Hillary seems to get a pass.
He was sad, right? He lost the election. He doesn't drink. So
Wow.
he doesn't smoke, he doesn't
gotta
drink
build
coffee, so he just buys houses. I don't know, it makes perfect sense to me.
Rick, you have multiple houses. I mean, do you apologize for your wealth?
Certainly not. And I don't have a problem with Mitt Romney's wealth, and I don't have a problem with how many houses he wants to buy. Couldn't care less. I think where he might get in trouble, though, is when he takes everybody else who doesn't have that, like that 47%, and says bad things about them. This might be a little bit more of an issue. Nobody ever cared that the Kennedys were rich.
Right.
Heather, last word.
But that's where it comes back to haunt him, because that 47% is going to carry him no matter where he goes. And when he has these houses, it looks like a real hypocrisy.
You know
That's
what the irony is, though, and I'll end it on this. If you look at the last 5 presidential elections, nobody's gotten more than 53% of the vote.
No.
So
right. That's
people
right.
are, that
Yeah.
47,
Yeah,
that's a very
53,
real
that's-
thing, and we have to end it there. Do you know what's trending? Well, I'll give you a hint. It involves a press conference and the NFL. Find out next on the Daily Wrap. It's only on Newsmax TV. And welcome back to the Daily Wrap. We're all here, as Rick said before, just so we don't get fined. Let's see what is trending in social media. Well, we scoured the vast internet with the help of Newsmax.com's wire editors, and there are many of them, to find out the juiciest stories that America is talking about right now. Of course, we talked already about Loretta Lynch and making her waves in the political world, and we found a lot online about a zombie cat setting fire to the internet. Maybe more on that tomorrow. But what's trending most right now is a man of very few words. We also found a lot on the upcoming Super Bowl. And speaking of the Super Bowl, Seattle Seahawks running back Marshawn Lynch made news Tuesday during the annual Super Bowl Media Day. What was so special about it? Watch and listen.
I'm here so I won't get fined. 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 I'm just here so I won't get fined. Hey, I'm here so I won't get fined. I'm here so I won't get fined. Hey, you better make more with your time. You only got 3 more minutes. I'm just here so I won't get fined. Hey, I'm just here so I won't get fined. I'm just here so I won't get fined. I'm just here so I won't get fined. Hey, I'm here so I won't get fined, boss. Hey, I'm just here so I won't get fined. Hey, I'm just here so I won't get fined. I'm just here so I won't get fined. I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Everybody get that? He's
Why
here
was he there?
The irony is
so
he's
he
gonna
doesn't
fined.
get fined. You know how many times he said that during the press conference?
I have no idea, but he's going to get fined for that hat.
Is it, oh, the hat.
I mean, the thing is, they're not allowed to wear things that sponsor something that's not that doesn't sponsor the NFL, which begs the question: if the NFL is so worried about fining people, why is it about whether or not they show up, whether or not they wear the right logo, and about more important things like whether or not they beat their wives? It's
I think
ridiculous.
that should be more than a finable thing.
She's got a point.
The answer is 29 times. Marshawn Lynch said the most famous 8 words, perhaps, in Media Day history. Rick, my question is this. I want to bring this back to a free speech issue. Now, Marshawn Lynch was there because he had a bad experience with the media a couple of years ago, and he vowed never to speak to him. But during Super Bowl week, as you heard, he may get fined if he doesn't show up to media day. So the question is, why does he have to show up at all if his choice is not to speak? Doesn't the First Amendment protect him in some way, shape, or form?
No. This is like saying to an actor that when he goes on stage, which he's being paid for, he can say whatever he wants. He doesn't have to say the lines in the play because he has a right of free speech.
But his
you
play
know
is
what?
the football field.
He's going to get fired. Well, that's where I agree with you. I don't think it's a First Amendment issue at all, but it is an issue. This guy's the best power back I've ever seen.
Seen?
Oh, he's phenomenal. Right. I think he's absolutely amazing, this guy. That's what matters. If he doesn't want to talk, don't make him talk. But I don't think it's constitutional.
I won't turn this into a sports segment, but I have to kind of go with Jim Brown on that. But that's a whole other story. Catherine, your thoughts on?
I thought it was funny. I thought it was cool. I've never seen a sports interview that I've actually enjoyed before in my whole life. So way to go.
It certainly resonated. It was trending all day yesterday, and now who looks like the bad guy in all this again is Roger Goodell, because it looks like you forced a man against his will, and he said, "Okay, you want me to talk? I'll talk." 8 words. He added a bro in one of those, I know. So let's call it 9. But Marshawn Lynch is everybody's hero this morning.
He's consistent, and he just goes to show that we're not looking for heroes. We're looking for people who play good ball, and they don't care. People don't care what he has to say. That's right.
I'm looking for heroes. That's where I get all my heroes. NFL.
NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Now here's the irony. Now the Seattle Seahawks last year, they were the bad guys because they were playing Prince Peyton Manning, right? And they had obviously Sherman, their defensive back, who was talking all sorts of trash. You got Marshawn Lynch, who was truculent with the media. And now this year, because of Deflategate and the cheaters from New England, so to speak. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's the perception. Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and Deflategate. Now suddenly they're the bad guys.
Right.
They're Tanya Harding, and the Seattle Seahawks, they're Nancy Kerrigan. Right. They're the good guys all of a sudden. Right. I find that remarkable.
Well, look, you know, what's even more interesting is everybody's picking New England to win this game because of one very bad game that Russell Wilson had last week or 2 weeks ago in the AFC Championship. They shouldn't be. Seattle is by far the better team and will likely win the Super Bowl.
Well, they are the defending champs, and we're going to talk about this a little bit more on Friday. Catherine, you got to love her candor. She's the Marshawn Lynch of this panel. I don't care. I'm not talking about it.
It's because you're making me.
Exactly. Okay. Well, let's throw a Hail Mary to our next segment. Coming up next,
good one.
You like that?
Thank you.
I will be taking on my co-host in a segment we like to call the Daily Quiz. Now, just to give you a heads up, I don't know the answers. I didn't look them up. I was very tempted to. I know the questions. So we're going to pose those to our panel to see if they actually know this. So a little bit of Jeopardy coming to Newsmax, except we'll actually be asking questions as opposed to in the form of an answer. You know what I mean. We'll be back, thank you, Rick, with more of the Daily Wrap, and it's only on Newsmax TV. And as you can see, the subways are working again here in New York City. They've decided to turn that little aspect back on. Well, you see people like us on TV all the time, but how smart are we really? Well, it's time to find out. This is the Daily Quiz. Okay, everybody, here's how it works. Our producers have come up with a series of questions none of us have seen prior to going on the air. I, Joe Concha, your Daily Quiz host, will not only be playing, but I'll also serve as unofficial scorekeeper with a pen and no real actual calculation in my head. This will completely be arbitrary. Yeah, you do that. I have the answers right here in these envelopes. They're sealed, and they will not be opened until everybody has answered. Okay, let's begin. And here's the first question. Who was a writer on Saturday Night Live who occasionally appeared on the show and is now a U.S. Senator? And what state does he represent? If you guys don't get this, we got serious problems. Go ahead. We're going to start with Heather Hansen first, if you've written fast enough. Heather, your answer. Put it up.
Al Franken, Minnesota.
Senator Al Franken. Senator Al Franken. And you didn't.
We got serious problems.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
You write for National Review.
Wow.
They cover
that
politics.
explains
I'm gonna walk
everything.
right out of here.
Now, it should be noted,
You're
Al
only here
Franken.
so you don't get fined.
Right, exactly.
Al Franken was
I
on
was
Saturday Night
I was
Live.
told
Yes,
that
he
this
was.
was cut, so I would have,
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So
What
I don't have
movie
to.
was he in? that he was so good?
He was small, something.
Trading Places.
He was
you're
a
thinking of Stuart Smiley. But
Yeah,
he
Stuart
was
Smiley.
great in Trading Places.
He what?
Yeah, he was in there with his old partner. Yeah, Davis.
Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, and they had a part.
Philadelphia.
They were driving the ape. Remember the ape?
Yeah,
scene?
yeah, I know.
They were driving the train.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that was him.
We can do more, Al Franken. if you
Wow.
like.
Watch that tonight.
We're
instead
not
of
going
Top
off
Gun.
on a tangent here. Or anything. Okay, let's go to question number 2. Let's put it up. Oh, Al Franken was the answer, by the way. I think we all agreed to that, right? Yep, there he is. And they're Stuart Smiley. They went with that video. So there you go. And Franken won very easily re-election. So people thought he would be a flop, but in possibly liberal Minnesota, apparently he's doing well. Okay, so let's go to question number 2, as I have to change my voice for a moment. Which 2 Hollywood superstars hinted they are considering running for political office in 2016? And what office do you think they should run for? Or should they run at all? Okay, so guys, put down your answers again. What 2 Hollywood superstars hinted they're running for political office in 2016? And Heather Hansen, since we're going in that direction, left to right, of course, we have to give you a little bit of time to get your answer, so I'm going to do what's called stretch right now. And
I'm just here so I don't get fined. I have
she's
no.
here so she doesn't get fined, bro.
I only got one. Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan
Yeah.
is Rick Unger's answer, and all of them is Kat's answer. I will now give my answer as well. I'm going to go with 1 George Clooney and 1 Ben Affleck. And let's see what the answers are. I'm not going to put it up because you won't be able to read it.
You were half right.
Oh, and the answers are Angelina Jolie. Outstanding. Looks
What are
very
they
much like my
thinking?
wife.
They're bored.
And
They
George
stopped talking
Clooney.
now. They're bored. They're probably
What are
bored.
they thinking?
You think they're bored?
And
Probably.
besides, neither of them is really thinking about running for president.
Right.
I have a problem
You
with
don't
the
think he
question.
is?
I'm gonna run for president.
Can we
Feel
have?
like
Where's the judge? Where's the producer? I want a judge.
Well, I'm actually the judge as well.
Oh, you're
Very
the judge
competitive
too,
Yes,
and
yes.
you're playing.
And,
Correct.
Yeah.
So let's add up the scores first.
And he knew the questions, but he didn't look up the
I
answers.
did not look up the answers. I swear.
But he knew the question, so maybe if there was a question you didn't know the answer to,
swear I did
you would
not
have selected
cheat. We
another.
gotta get
He
the-
did that thing where you don't
right there.
circle all the right answers on a test if you're going to cheat. That's why he got one wrong, so that we wouldn't think that he's cheating.
Wow, I always just answered none
I
of the
think
above.
she's
It
got you
worked out
down.
phenomenal.
I do.
I think she's
We
got
just
you
met
down.
tonight, and she knows me. She
knows
back
you
of my
so
head.
well.
This is a video question, everybody. This British politician wrote the book that has turned into a very successful TV show here and also in the UK. What's the name of that show? And what is the name of the man who wrote it? That's actually a very good question.
I have no idea.
Heather Hansen.
I'm hoping that this is Downtown Abbey. I have no idea.
No, it's Downton.
Yes.
Downtown
I don't
Abbey.
watch it. Downton Abbey.
Right.
Is that right?
Well, Downton is
I know.
pretentious. You say it exactly the right way. I've never watched a minute of it.
Jonathan Lynn, who created what was the name? Oh, yes, Prime Minister.
Jonathan Lynn?
Yes.
Okay.
Who happens to be a relative of mine, because it isn't who that really is.
Interesting. Catherine used invisible
I
ink.
don't watch TV. Sorry.
You don't watch? Oh my God.
I don't.
She's
really.
on TV,
I don't.
but she
I'm-
will not watch TV.
Downtown
Well, her
Abbey.
cable bill must be very good. I'm going to
Benny
go with Benny
Hill.
Hill.
Oh, come on.
Benny Hill. So let's put up the answer, guys,
he
real
gets
quick,
this
as
right,
I'm
he's
telling you
definitely
we
cheating.
got to go soon.
Definitely
And our
cheating.
answer is
House of
man.
Cards.
House of Cards. Lord Michael Dobbs is my favorite show on television. You'd think I would have known that. So, wow, outstanding question, guys. So let's go to the break. And yeah, but that did not go well at all. I declare myself the winner. Let's go to break. We dig for internet gold next. And welcome back to the final segment of the Daily Wrap as a smoky vapor haze overcomes the studio because Rick Unger can't put down. Yeah,
Who did that?
know all about it. Anyway, we like to finish up each show because this is our first one, so we really like doing this with some internet gold. Now we all have our Twitter accounts and we all see what's trending on social media. So first, let's see that cold open of the. This music is patently awesome, by the way. Thank you to our producer, Chad, whoever it shows this. It's really hip. I'm very much liking it. Very on Newsmax. Internet Gold is a compilation of some of our favorite videos, tweets, you name it, that we found on the internet. So even though the blizzard of 2015 turned out to be a dud, at least here in New York, I heard it hit Boston, but since it, it didn't hit New York, then apparently it doesn't count. Thank you, media. The storm decided to set up its own Twitter account. Yes, at Blizzard_NYC, thousands of followers, and it proceeded to update us with its shenanigans. So let's see some of those tweets up on the screen if we could. My tour dates just dropped, and I'll be blowing into town on the 26th. That was outstanding. Let's see the next one. And also we have, at Bette Midler, it looks like we're going to be snowed in, and the real blizzard hasn't even started yet. Tremendous. Next one. I'm blowing through your burrows. I'm blowing your trees over. Hide yo wife. Hide yo kids. I guess the yo is used because there's only 140 characters that are allowed. Let's go to tweet number 4. I swear if I hear one more basic sing, you want to build a snowman, I'm going to have to hurt someone with powdery snow. And finally, the blizzard sums it up best here. Hey guys, I'm here. What's the best way to get the Statue of Liberty or get to the Statue of Liberty from Midtown? I just want to see Lady Liberty. So certainly an outstanding, this is the best thing I've seen as far as fake Twitter accounts since the Romney, the empty chair.
The empty chair, yeah. The interesting thing is these fake Twitter accounts get huge amounts of followers. Would you say it was 2,000?
Oh, it's in the thousands, yeah. It just keeps going up and up and up.
It's kind of crazy.
I think you need to get out more.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not good. I did a much better job of live tweeting my experience from my apartment with the snow.
I believe that.
Nothing. I went to get Raisinets. There you go.
Let's hear about the Raisinets.
Way more fascinating. Way more fascinating. I tweeted it with a picture. I was a little more creative. I was really angry all night because I was really looking forward to the chaos. I was looking forward to mass hysteria. And there was absolutely
You got the mass
nothing.
hysteria. It just wasn't well founded.
No, there was no hysteria.
No cats and dogs
I wanted
living together.
Screaming in the streets. I wanted, something exciting.
She wants Sandy, baby.
I wanted something exciting to happen. Hurricane Sandy ruined my birthday.
It did.
Yeah.
You were born on the 30th?
October 29th is my birthday.
Wow. So forever you'll be
I ate canned soup in my apartment alone.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And that was not a good birthday?
That was not a good birthday. There wasn't any hysteria either.
This was your 24th then when that happened?
Yeah, I'm 26.
26, so it was 2 years ago. Yeah, see, math. Okay, so from Super Bowl.
Called me 27 before, so I just want to make sure you understood.
Yes, of course. So, okay, from the superstorm that was to the Super Bowl, a lot of supers in the prompter. The Super Bowl is coming up, and GoDaddy.com, who has run into a little bit of trouble before, now has to pull one of its Super Bowl ads. Let's take a look at that ad right now involving a very, very cute puppy.
It's Buddy! I'm so glad you made it home. Because I just sold you on this website I built with GoDaddy. Ship 'em out!
Get your domain and website all in one place at GoDaddy.com.
You know what the funny part about this is? They pulled the ad, but it's been on all the cable news networks today. More people will see this.
That's horrible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Rick Unger, you have a problem with
That's
that?
horrible. They sold the dog, and the dog was dropped somewhere on the road.
Well, then
Not
been
everyone
shipped
you
out
love always
immediately.
loves you back.
No wonder they won't show it.
I mean, there's a real problem with the puppy mills, and this just shows the power of vegans. I mean, people are rising up in arms about this, and they're really, puppy mills, some people get really upset about this stuff.
I'm not a vegan, but that was awful.
Yeah, it's a...
Kat?
Yeah, I mean, it was awful. Like you said, a lot of free advertising for them. I think a lot of things on TV are awful. I do think puppy mills are one of those things that are awful. But I think listening to PETA is another thing that's awful.
Well, yes. But in this case, at least, we have one more to go. Can we show the Will Ferrell video real quick, guys? I know we're low on time. Let's do it. Nope. No Will Ferrell video. Okay. Well, apparently,
that was the good one.
Yeah, apparently. Well, I'll sum up. Oh, there. story short, that's Will Ferrell taking out a cheerleader. Anyway, it was all for a movie. It was fake. Anyway, that'll do it for the Daily Wrap. That was our first show. I want to thank Catherine Tim and Rick Unger and Heather Hansen joining me today. Join us tomorrow here at 6 p.m., 3 p.m. Pacific. For more fun, I'm Joe Concha. Have a good night.